Hey everyone. So today, we're going to do more than just talk about passwords. We are going to build a fortress, a digital fortress designed to protect all your most important stuff online. And the first step? Well, we've got to check the locks on the doors.
So, let me ask you something. Does it feel like you're juggling, I don't know, a million different passwords? And do you ever get that little pit in your stomach? That feeling that maybe, just maybe, they aren't as strong as you hope they are? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. You know, that feeling really gets at the heart of the problem here. It's something called password reuse, and honestly, it's one of the single biggest security holes on the entire internet. I get it. Using the same password for everything feels easier, but it's like having one single key for your house, your car, your office, everything. If a bad guy gets that one key, well, they have access to your whole life.
But hey, no need to panic. We're going to build up our defenses piece by piece, and we're starting with the absolute foundation. The walls of our fortress. And in our digital world, the walls are our passwords. We need to make them incredibly strong.
Okay, so rule number one for a strong fortress wall is super simple. Make it long. The more characters you add, the harder it is for an attacker to bust through. You'll see a lot of sites ask for a minimum of 8 characters, but honestly, when we're talking about security, longer is always better. No exceptions.
And the difference a few extra characters makes, it's absolutely staggering. Look, an 8-character password. A modern computer can just guess its way through that in a matter of minutes. But if you jump up to, say, 12 characters or more, the number of possibilities just explodes. We're talking about something that could take centuries to crack with the same tech. Now that is a serious upgrade to your wall.
But think about it. A really long wall built out of like styrofoam is still a weak wall, right? So that brings us to our second key ingredient, complexity. This is all about what your password is made of. We want to use a mix of different character types to make it way more unpredictable.
So, what are the ingredients for a complex password? It's actually a pretty simple recipe. You want a good mix of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and of course, those special characters. You know, the exclamation points, the pound signs, all that good stuff. Think of each type as a different kind of building material for your fortress wall. The more variety you throw in there, the tougher that wall becomes.
All right, quick pop quiz for you. Let's say you're signing up for a new service, you type in a password, and you get an error message that says you need to include a symbol. What kind of security policy is that website enforcing?
Yep. If you were thinking password complexity, you nailed it. That's the site's way of making sure your password isn't just long, but that it's also strong, that it's built with those different varied materials we just talked about.
Okay, so we've got a seriously strong wall now. But our digital fortress isn't just one building, right? It has a bunch of different gates. One for your email, one for your bank, one for social media, and each one needs its own unique key. So how on earth do you manage all of them? Well, that's where our password management playbook comes into play.
And this brings us right back to our biggest enemy, password reuse. I know it's tempting to come up with one perfect password and just use it everywhere. But that's the digital equivalent of using the same key for your front door, your car ignition, and your safe deposit box. One leak, one stolen key, and an attacker has access to, well, everything.
Now, you've probably run into this. Some websites try to fight this habit. They have a password history policy that stops you from using, say, your last 5 passwords again. What's the point of that? Why do they do it?
It's all about forcing you to create something new. That policy is there to stop you from just rotating between password 123 and password 124. It makes sure that when you have to change your password, it's a genuinely new one, which helps break that dangerous habit of reusing old, potentially compromised credentials.
Okay, so let's be realistic. How is anyone supposed to remember dozens of different super long, complex passwords? The answer is, you don't. You let a password manager do it for you. This tool is basically your personal digital key master. It's a secure vault that does all the hard work for you. And it works in 3 really simple steps. First, the manager generates a crazy strong, totally unique password for every single account. Second, it stores all of them safely inside a super secure encrypted vault. And third, it autofills your login info for you safely across all your devices. Seriously, no more remembering, no more typing, and no more reusing. Problem solved.
So, having strong password walls and a keymaster to manage them is a huge leap forward. Huge! But a really, truly secure fortress needs more than just great walls. It needs allied defenses, other security measures that work together with your passwords.
And as this quote from CompTIA points out, security really is a team effort. The #1 rule of Password Club is you don't share your password. And in a business setting, there are powerful tools like multi-factor authentication, you'll hear that called MFA, and single sign-on, or SSO, that make sharing passwords not only a bad idea, but totally unnecessary.
So let's apply that. If you're trying to reduce the risk of people sharing their passwords inside a company, which of these tools is going to be the most effective?
The answer is a combo of MFA and SSO. Think of it this way. Multi-factor authentication is like having a second security guard at the gate. Even after you use your password, your key, this guard asks for another form of ID, like a one-time code sent to your phone. And single sign-on? That's kind of like having a master passport. It lets you use one secure login to get into a bunch of different approved apps, so you don't have a bunch of separate passwords to manage or to share.
Okay, one last really critical point here. We have all done this. You buy a new router or some other smart device, and the username is admin, and the password is like password. Why is it so important to change that stuff immediately?
Because those default passwords are not a secret. They are public knowledge. They're printed right in the manuals. They're all over the internet. Hackers have automated programs that are just scanning the internet 24/7, looking for devices that are still using them. Not changing it is literally like leaving your front door wide open with a giant "come on in" sign hanging on.
All right, we've gone over the blueprints for building a solid digital fortress. So now, let's boil it all down into a simple, powerful action plan that you can start using today. Look, if you only take away 3 things from all this, make it these 3. Number 1, make all of your passwords long and unique. No exceptions. Number 2, use a password manager to do the heavy lifting for you. And number 3, turn on multi-factor authentication, MFA, everywhere it's offered. That right there, that's your core defense strategy. So there you have it. You've got the keys to your own digital fortress now. But, technology never stops moving. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. As we move more towards things like biometrics and passkeys, what does a future without passwords even look like? Will our digital fortresses of tomorrow even need these kinds of walls?